How's it going, everybody? In this video, I'm going to be answering the question, do you deserve to be happy? So, like I mentioned, in this video, I'm going to be talking about, do you deserve to be happy? I saw it trending as sort of a question that a lot of people are asking, and I thought it was interesting and something that is worth unpacking. The first thing to really start thinking about here is I don't really want to give an answer to the question itself because I think it's going to be a lot more fruitful to actually explore the question as opposed to what the answer is, right? Because the question itself is pretty loaded. There is a lot of information sort of built into this, a lot of assumptions, and primarily the idea that people either do or don't deserve happiness, right? The idea here is that the way we act and live should or should not make us worthy of happiness. And to me, that's a very problematic premise. So maybe the first distinction or parallel that I'll draw is thinking about it in terms of the same sort of question: do you deserve to be angry? Do you deserve to be sad? Do you deserve to be excited? When you use the word deserve and then pair it with an emotion, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. It's not a realistic relationship, right? You don't necessarily deserve to have certain feelings or emotions. The emotions are typically responses to situations. So, yes, there is a degree that we can put ourselves in situations that tend to create certain types of emotions, but that's not really the same thing as deserving. I'm not really sure where this idea of deserving comes from. And we can even use it to sort of encompass a more broad definition of happiness, right? Right now I've sort of focused on the emotional component, but this also serves for sort of the physical and the purposeful components as well. I guess in a sense you could say that you deserve to some degree because of the situations you choose to be in, but a lot of the times, especially in regards to happiness, those decisions are either not completely understood before the fact, which is to say that in some instances you're going to experience unhappiness regardless of what choices you make. And another piece is that even when we're doing our best, we're still going to make mistakes and whatnot. And to say deserve implies some sort of worth. And I think it's something that can really take away a lot of happiness from people just from getting into that frame, right? I don't think asking this question to begin with is a good idea. I don't think sitting in that frame of, oh, do I deserve this, is the correct way to think about things. Instead, I think it's a lot more fruitful to focus on, instead of deserving, what sort of things you do to create or take away happiness and how you can change your actions to produce more of those situations. Like I was saying, feeling unhappy is sort of a natural, normal part of life, but you do have some influence. In the same way, feeling angry is a natural, normal part of life, but you do have some influence, right? So if you get really, really frustrated at sports, then if you go and play a bunch of sports in a very competitive setting, you are likely to experience anger. In the same way, if you know that you don't like spending time with certain people and you choose to spend time with them anyway, you're very likely to produce unhappiness. But that, again, has nothing to do with whether or not you deserve it. These are just around choices and outcomes. So if you can take away sort of this worthiness piece, right? I don't think it really makes sense to ask whether or not someone is worthy or unworthy of a particular emotion. If you can take away some of that and focus on sort of the actions and outcomes, I think that makes a lot more sense. If you can figure out what pieces of your life you can change, which ones you need to sort of accept and change your relationship with, and then work towards those ends, that's going to be so much more fruitful than trying to determine if you deserve a particular emotional state. Now, I want to dive into this a little bit deeper because what are the metrics that people are looking at to determine if they deserve happiness, right? Is this tied to some sort of, oh, you need to be a good person and you have to take good actions because morals different person by person. So that's really going to depend, there's no objective set of rules that you can say. And that's the reason that happiness and deserving don't really go together. It doesn't really make sense. Now, if you want me to sort of answer the actual question, do you deserve to be happy? I'm going to say yes is my answer, even though it's not really tied to anything, because like I said, the question isn't particularly good. You deserve to be happy because that's one of the emotions, one of the pieces of life, right? Everyone deserves to feel or have the full range of emotions that are available to them. Again, I don't think it's the right question, so I'm going to stop talking about it and move on to the reflection questions. 1. Has the idea of deserving kept you from experiencing happiness? 2. How can you create happiness? So hopefully that helps you sort of understand sort of this question a little bit better and go a layer deeper, because if you're in this frame of deserving, you've already sort of created an unrealistic expectation or an unrealistic relationship with an emotion that is going to ebb and flow as life comes and goes, as with other emotions. So again, don't really think the question makes sense, but that's all I've got for this video. So if you have any questions, comments, topics you want me to cover, throw them down in the box below. I'll get to them as soon as I can, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please take a second to subscribe, as it really helps out a lot. If you're looking for more content, there's all sorts of information over at howtohappy.com. And if you want something a little bit more condensed and concise, I've also written the book Mindscaping, which is essentially a framework for optimizing happiness. So we'll have the link there as well. And that's all I've got. Thanks again. I'll see you next time.